Hey there, everybody, and welcome to Fresh Out the Box Does a TTRPG Talk. I am the Game Master Johananon.
I am the co-host of Fresh Out the Box. I'm Casualty CDG. I'm a retired child crimes and human trafficking detective, but now I just make jokes and play tabletop games. Today is May the 4th, Jahan. And yesterday, we were playing some video games, and we were talking about what we were going to do today. We didn't know what we were going to do, just that it was going to be Star Wars-centric. So we reached out to a friend of ours to see if he wanted to play a game. He's currently being paid to run something today. Shout out to Milestone Play, friend of the show. So he was busy, so we said maybe we'll look at another Star Wars game. But it looks like they're all dead and defunct, and someone's waiting to make a new Star Wars license. So what we found was recommended by a friend of ours, Mr. Kapow. Everybody check him out. Check out his shows. That's our boy. It's at Mr. Kapow, Kapao, right? I did it. I did his thing for him. Check him out on Twitter.
MRKAPAO.
Bam! There you go. Hit it big, Jahan. So we're looking at Rebel Scum, recommended by Mr. Kapow.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's by Ninth Level Games.
Ninth Level Games, an indie company. What are they best known for, Gary?
So they had done something else that I saw. I think it's Kobold Ate My Children. I think I've heard of that one before.
And you said their number one was Business Wizards?
On their games, they have the top one listed as Business Wizards. It says it's a tabletop roleplay game of puntastic corporate horror set in the arcade world of business.
Yeah, absolutely. So they also do TTRPGs. It looks like they do board games. They got a lot going on. Cool company. Hopefully we can talk to them some more, you know? Sounds like they're right up our alley. Business Wizards sounds cool. And some of these anthologies, they have an anthology of indie RPGs published for free RPG. They actually have the book I'm seeing here on the website physically.
That's what I was saying, is that level 1 anthology they have, that's free also on their website. It's
free? That's nice. They're doing the Return to the Dark Tower RPG as well, which I did not realize.
Well, if you guys want to get a bunch of free RPGs and you missed Free RPG Day, it looks like you can get the 2020 anthology and the 2021 anthology at ninthlevel.com.
Yeah, ninthlevel.com. And you can get this book we're talking about right now, Rebel Scum, on drive-thru. They sorry, someone has a loud truck. They do their PDF distribution through drive-thru RPG.
This sounds like a tabletop game that Were-Rats would like. The Very Good Dogs of Chernobyl. It's a role-playing game about good dogs fighting horrors from beyond Chernobyl in the exclusion zone.
I don't know if he's full-on furry. I think he just likes rats, but maybe you're right.
I mean, you You don't have to be furry. You just play good dogs.
That's
You
fair.
you don't have to play
I like
sexy dogs,
I
John.
like that it's well. I mean, agree to disagree there. Uh, I like how it's characterized as a modern occult horror TTRPG of telepathic dogs. That's fantastic. But yeah, so they have a lot of good stuff here. Check where I'm just now. Gary's been following these people, but I'm just now checking them out, and apparently I've been tangentially aware of them. But there's some cool stuff on the site. Check it out, ninthlevel.com. Oh, not a rat. Yeah, rat. Guilty as charged. Where rats is here. I forgot that they changed their name. That's funny.
Oh, shit, I'm dying.
Yeah, no, this is good stuff already, right out the gate. But yeah, Return to the Dark Tower is characterized as like a retro, like RPG, and we've had some issues with that in the past. So when I saw because like I was excited when I saw Dark Tower, Return to the Dark Tower RPG, but I was afraid that it got, what do you call it, co-opted by the right, which is such a ridiculous thing to have to worry about. But no, it looks like this is more liberal company, so hopefully I can actually like this one. Vampire Bites, everyone's here. This is awesome. Yeah, you can totally eat your sandwich, Mr. Kapow. That's fine. I think
told
Mr.
him he
Kapow's
has
gonna
to
join in. I bet you I can find his name real quick. Let's see here. Is he cool enough? Yeah, he's cool enough.
What are you looking for? What are you doing?
I grabbed his name so that I can give him a nameplate when he joins in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, you're setting up the stream. I see.
Yeah, but anyways, so here we are, Rumble Scum, and with so many of our favorite viewers here congregated as one. God, I really want to see them interact. I want to see an interaction between were-rats and vampire bites. So bad.
I feel like they would be maybe not friends, but certainly amicable. I think they would get along well enough.
I think they could get along well.
Yeah.
They both love causing us trouble. So
most people who know us like doing that, Jahan. I think there's just something about our fucking faces that ask for it.
So who are you digging it out with? They changed their name to not a rat, but a rat score. Ratatour score. That's where rats. But yeah, so we can get started checking out this dope book. It's not the longest book. It's about 77 pages. Unity through pain, pain through triumph. But yeah, so right out the back, I like that the book is made to look like it's a toy hanging on the rack. It has that little like notch in the top, if you notice, on the cover.
Hold on, where did I go? What am I doing? There it is. Oh yes, that's right. It does look like a toy. Oh, that's cool. It's cool packaging.
Got a little package. Yeah, it looks like it's a spaceship in a little, what do you call it, action figure box. Man, I'm forgetting words. Powered by polymorph. I guess we'll find out what that means. It looks like it means they use all the dice, judging by the picture.
This is an anti-fascist space opera, Jahan.
Yeah. Yes.
So if there are any fascists here, we would ask you to please leave before we get started.
Also, like, you should have left a while. Like, I don't know why.
Yeah, stay gone.
Stay gone. But yeah, Rebel Scum, the anti-fascist. Yeah. Do you remember when life was simple and all the universe's problems could be solved by little plastic heroes? I like this barren death ray. That's cool. A little action figure. I like the art. I'm liking it. Rebel Scum is a cinematic role-playing game that tries to tackle the problems of today by pretending to punch space Nazis right in the face. An explicitly anti-fascist space opera RPG, a war in the stars between the forces of good and evil, a political allegory about right now told in the story of classic action figures powered by polymorph. Rebel Scum is a fast and easy to play as picking up some dudes and smashing them together, making pew-pew noises. Except now, you know what the fight is about. Polymorph is the award-winning single-die fast-action role-playing system from Ninth Level Games. The rules that power mazes, fantasy role-playing, the excellence princess role-playing, and more.
Okay, so it's maybe their house system, it seems.
Yeah, it seems like it's their house system. Yeah, anyone who doesn't realize the direct correlation between, fascism and the empire, I can't help you. That movie wasn't complicated.
It is a dark time. Baron Deathray and his kill troopers hunt down all dissension from the evil Kill Star Republic. Fascism and terror rule the star system. In the darkness, a motley band of revolutionaries, traitors, criminals, robots, and other rebel scum are trying to fight back. You are our only hope. I hope while I was reading that, you did slow scroll for everybody at home.
I did my best.
Because you owe them that, at very least.
Yeah, happy May the 4th be with you, y'all. But this is not a Star Wars game. Shh. We don't want to get into trouble.
Well, also, that's why I didn't do the Star Wars theme. I started to, and then it ended with a flat tuba, which I think everyone needs more of in their life.
I've always been a fan of that, bad recorder music.
Like the Jurassic Park bad recorder.
Yeah, any of them. Anytime you're trying to do something and they play the theme song of what you're doing and then badly, and it's funny. Welcome, Space Comrade. Are you ready to fight back against the forces of oppression and hate? Ready to punch space Nazis in their stupid, jackbooting space Nazi faces? Well, you are. Good. Then welcome to the Revolution Space Comrade, Space Scum, Scientific, blah, 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 blah. It's about hope striking back. It's about returning to our roots and giving them a stern talk.
Oh my god, that's funny, Jahan. Did you see that? The words that are capitalized?
Hope, striking back, returning. Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Yeah. It's about hope. It's about striking back. It's about returning. That's good.
Well, that's pretty funny.
Love it.
Spew hate, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, this is all background stuff. It's about now. I feel like everyone's alive right now, so you're aware of what's going on, especially this past week. But yeah, safety rules. A warning: this game is political. While intended to be helpful and fun, it is shining a mirror back at the post-capitalist, post-truth pandemic idiocracy that we are currently living through. If you don't want that kind of stress in your life, we get it. Maybe skip this ride. I have called the Republic so that we can say I punched that Republican in the face. This is deliberate. Okay, excellent. All right, and there he is.
Oh, what timing too! What great timing.
Let me stretch this out. Ah! Hey! Nice. That was a nice.
Mr. Kapow. Oh, yes, Mr. Kapow.
No, I gotta go. No, when I do,
you never fail to impress. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's excellent.
I was hoping to see you eating a sandwich, but I think with the helmet on, I'm less likely to see the sandwich consumption. That's all right. You had to pick one, helmet or sandwich.
No, I love it. The helmet was definitely a great choice. But yeah, this is Mr. Kapow. Mr. Kapow plays in some of our games, has been on several of our streams, and is a friend of the show. And suggested this very game on Twitter earlier. So I went out and bought it immediately with my big boy money, and here we are. Yeah, Vampire Bites. If you want to check this out, it's on DriveThruRPG. $14.99 if you want to play this. Not a bad deal. 77 glorious pages of anti-fascist Nazi punching. I have called the Game Master, the GM, the government, and the players the next rebellion, both of which are trademarked, because there is nothing scarier or more real than the corporization of our lives, our philosophy, our entertainment, and even our dreams. If any of the above makes you mad, we'll just put the game back where you found it. In addition, here are some standard safety rules that we find good for playing all RPGs. Be safe, have fun. So these are safety rules, open door policies, talk things out, let people know. Enthusiastic consent, that's a good one. Getting your players to agree to actually give a shit about your game can be sometimes a necessary covenant, for sure. And then transparency and consent warnings. Those kinds of things.
Not just to breeze over it. Those are really important things. We, of course, play with all the safety tools, but we've done dozens of these videos at this point. We've gone over how important safety tools are, especially when playing with new players. Make sure that everybody at the table is going to be comfortable, that no one's going to be crossing any lines.
Yes.
I don't like overtly sexual roleplay at the table. I think it's like low-brow crap if someone tries to have sex every time they go to a town. I also don't like dead bodies, so we usually gloss over that stuff. So whatever problems you have, talk to your game master about it and make sure that everyone's having fun.
If you want to really upset him, you should try to have sex with a dead body.
Oh, man. Yeah, that would do the trick.
Yeah, it would. All right, Rebel Scum. Here's another action figure for you. How you doing, Mr. Kapow?
I'm doing good. I hope everybody's having a wonderful May the 4th. I'm rocking my Star Wars Celebration shirt.
I got my Kylo Ren on here.
And also my Mando Mercs vest.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
It's pretty dope.
Yeah,
This game was got to play about a month ago. It was really fun.
Hell yeah. No, this is a great suggestion. I'm liking it already.
We didn't get to create our own characters though, but we were able to use the pre-gen characters, which is on the 9th level website, available for download in their resources section.
Excellent. Excellent. I do also believe that this $14.99 PDF came with an adventure. It came with some stuff. It is called The Last Hope, Crew of the Last Hope. And it also came with some like cards and stuff, like, quick play rules. It looks like these actually might be some of the pre-gens you're talking about here. But yeah, no, very cool.
I was the mercenary bounty hunter character.
Nice. That's a good pick. It's always a fun character to play.
I asked which character is wearing a helmet all the time, because that is the way.
That is the way.
That is the way.
Well, John, I've cruised down a couple of pages. Some of them just sort of explained what it is to be players versus the GM, to be the government versus the players, and how that works in a cinematic system. But getting all the way down to page 17 is where some of the core rules start to find out how this system works.
Absolutely. And we're all about the system here.
Yeah, we got to figure out the system before we figure out how making characters makes sense, which I always like that order in the book. I like to know what I'm doing before I make my guy.
Oh, this is one of those. Damn. I don't mind it. Because it is easier. But sometimes I like to roll dice too. Only players roll dice. Within a Rebel Scum game, only the players roll dice. While the government is the enemy of the player, they are also an impartial storyteller. All actions in the game are player-facing, meaning that the GM sets up situations that the players are actively engaging with. The GM doesn't attack the players. The players defend against attacks of the cops, soldiers, robots, and traps of the government. Ain't that the truth? Before we pick a role, let's find out what kind of actions that we can take. So yeah, this is, if anyone's seen us play Wild Sea, it's like that. Only the players roll. Depending on your character's role, a player will have a specific die roll. Each die has advantages and disadvantages built into it. This die will be a 4, a 6, an 8, or a 10. Remember.
Ooh, you get to use the whole kaleidoscope of die. I like that.
Use the whole spectrum here.
Mm-hmm.
If you are
depending on your class,
depending on class, that makes sense. That's pretty cool. Yeah, like the physically weaker characters get a D4 strength, but they get like D10 until. All right, that's cool. If you are a D4, you always roll the D4. If you are a D8, you roll the D8. Need to make an action roll? Roll your die. A save roll? Roll your die. And then roll with it. Most actions are resolved by rolling a die to determine if you succeed or fail at that action. There are 2 core types of rolls that you'll make: the action roll and the save roll. The success or failure of an action and save rolls is determined by rolling the static numbers of the actions listed on your action figure card back. I also like that it's all set up action figure style. It's cool.
Yeah, so you have your character on the front, and it looks like a toy in a box, and then on the back is your character sheet, so it's the back of your action figure box.
Yeah.
That's a cool theme that they kept. I like seeing that throughout this book.
Damn, I should have brought that water bottle. I have a water bottle that has like a bunch of Star Wars action figures on it.
Oh, sick.
Yeah.
I want to say one of my favorite things about the system and character sheet in specifically is the fact that it's all on one sheet.
Yeah, that's always very nice to just be able to take it all in like that.
Mm-hmm. My wife and I were talking about that today. She prefers a front and back character sheet, and I like the 2 pages because I am going to write down so much crap on the back of my character sheet that I almost like having the blank pages.
I like 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't want a book.
I don't want a book.
I'm not doing a book.
Although sometimes I do, though.
Blank backs.
Sometimes I do.
If I have a blank back,
binders.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I used to have notebooks too, but I would forget them, and then I would just have chicken scratch all over my character sheet. So that just became my preferred method. If you need to jot down the GM's riddles and maps and stuff, it's nice to have a blank sheet of paper. Just flip. But I do like the format they picked for this one. To your point, it's really cool.
Yeah, I like it.
It's very streamlined.
It seems simple enough, for sure. Let's see. Data, move, blade. Oh yeah, action figure card. The abilities are class, intel, data, move, blade, might, blaster, bot, etc. You succeed on an action if you roll one of the numbers shown for that action type. Interesting. When your character is good at something or the situation is in your favor, they may gain a second die roll. This is called advantage. They only need to succeed on one of the 2 rolls on the test. If the odds are against them, disadvantage, roll 2, take the lesser. We're familiar with those rules.
Those character sheets look neat, the way that it says you roll the number. I went back up and looked at it, and that's kind of cool looking.
I see what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
I don't really know how to explain it other than you're trying to roll the numbers. So the skills are key, intel, move, blaster, might, and ultimate on this character sheet. And so key has a 1, intel has a 2 and a 3, move has a 3, 4, 5, blaster has a 4, 5, 6, 7, might 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and the ultimate is 4, 6, 8, 10. So we're going to figure out how those numbers work later, but that's kind of what your skills look like, which is that's neat. I like what's going on here.
It's interesting, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't seen anything like it before, and it's nice to come across stuff like that.
Yeah. Something new. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
You want to read the action, Gary?
An action or action roll is a roll that a player makes to do something that they want to do. Action rolls are active. Making an action roll requires that it be your turn, and taking an action is the result of your turn. The player describes the action that the character is trying to take, and the GM tells them what the outcome is. Each action figure has its own set of outcomes, since space wizards, robots, and fighter pilots do different kinds of things. Let's say that you're trying to run away from a robot bulldozer barreling down a corridor. The game master says, roll drive if you're a human character, or roll mover if you're a robot. Regardless of your die type, you roll it and hope that you roll a 3, 4, or 5. The target's for a drive, mover, or engine roll, conveniently located on your character card back. Taking an action is the primary activity of a player's turn. After you've taken an action, you can't do anything else until everyone else acts. The save. I'm going to guess that a save is a save. A save is almost always taken off turn, unless it's a response to an action that a player has just taken. For example, the player opens a door and the game master makes them make a drive save because the floor falls out from underneath them. Making a save is the primary activity when it's the game master's turn. Saving rolls are your response to things that happen to you. The most common kind is a blaster save, which you roll when you're being shot at by blasters. You might not be surprised, but this happens a lot in Rebel Scum episodes. Remember, in a polymorph game, the game master never rolls dice, so if a kill trooper attacks you, we resolve that by having the character roll to save to avoid damage, as opposed to the game master rolling to act. Unlike actions, saves can happen at any time and do not use your turn.
Nice.
Finally is the effect. Occasionally, you'll roll for the effect. When you roll for an effect, you just roll your number die and say the number. I rolled a 5. This could be used for speed, the numbers that robots slice in half, or how many kill troopers that get thrown off the railing. When rolling for effect, a die explodes. So when it rolls ultimate, you add a 4 on a d4, an 8 on a d8, etc. When a die explodes, you roll it again and add the results together.
Nice.
I also like exploding die. I think they're a lot of fun. But they, besides them being a lot of fun, they're inherently very unbalanced.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It's a lot of fun, but if somebody crits big, they kill anything or anybody in the game, which is strange.
It's for those moments where you have those big dynamic, like spotlight moments, like blowing up the Death Star.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, Luke's dice definitely exploded on that one.
Yeah, they did.
Definitely, absolutely. Vantage. Huh. Did you want to read any, Michael?
I am unable to read it because I do not have it currently with me.
Gotcha. No problemo.
That happens.
That happens. Yeah, absolutely. So
I'll make comments here on the cashew gallery.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I didn't want you to be bored, because we appreciate you being here. Vantage. The primary way that you can affect dice roll is in Rebel Scum is through Vantage. Positive effects are advantage, negative effects are disadvantage. When you have Vantage, either good or bad, you roll dice twice. If you have advantage, you succeed if either roll succeeds. Disadvantage, you only succeed if they both succeed. Which is an interesting way to say that. But yeah, I mean, that is the meat and potatoes of it. You can also gain advantage and disadvantage on effect rolls. Since you're not rolling against a target number, Vantage is handled different. When you have advantage on an effect, roll an additional die and take the higher result. For a disadvantage effect, roll twice and keep the lower. You're all clear, kid. Players have a lot of power and control over what is going on in the game. Players describe their actions to the GM. GM will either narrate what happens because of the character's choice and actions, or ask you to roll dice to see if it works. A central premise of Rebel Scum is that the characters are the heroes. That's nice. As the protagonists, we assume that they have the requisite skills and abilities, and that they are going to succeed most of the time. When a character tries to do something that they should be able to do, it just happens. You don't need to roll dice. The dogfighter doesn't need to roll dice to take off in the starfighter, for instance. Unless, of course, it's about to be crushed under the foot of a towering elephant walker.
Elephant walker made me have a little giggle.
Yeah.
It doesn't have AT-ATs. It has elephant walkers, naturally.
Yeah, of course.
I wonder what the two-legged walkers are called.
The ostrich
Chicken? Chicken walker? Ostrich walker?
Either way, it's a bird.
Bird walker.
Sure. Yeah. Fighters can take care of
To
their
your
guns.
point, that's what I was going to say. To your point, fighters, the jet people, dog fighters can take off, don't need to roll. Fighters can take care of their guns. Robots can talk to computers. Rogues can charm the pants off people. It's just something the character can do. It's intrinsic to their class and their selected edges. It's not interesting if they just fail at what they're supposed to be good at. Edges are often used as the basis for a dialogue with the game master about an environment, or as a simple acknowledgement that the character can do the thing or know that information. I love that the character can do the thing. They are a way for the character to gain knowledge about the environment without rolling. This doesn't mean that nothing requires a roll. If there's a chance that you won't succeed, there should always be a roll. Not just because they can roll, they don't have to. Doesn't mean that they always will. Sometimes there will be conflict or a chance that a character won't succeed. A gambler doesn't always win the game or have the ability to follow the money. Just because they are a robot doesn't mean that they absolutely can decipher any garbled transmission, and so on. When there's a chance that they could fail, or whenever they're actively contested, if there's pressure or danger or any interesting consequences, then roll the dice. That's one of those old rules that people who are like, I don't, maybe not people who are new to the game, but some people just throw dice. They throw dice and then they tell the game master what they want to do. And I think that one of the things you have to remember about a tabletop game is you don't have to roll the dice all the time.
Yeah.
You can open a door, and if you decide to just throw dice off turn and you botch all of a sudden, you block yourself out of the door.
You could fail at opening that door that I probably wasn't even going to ask for a roll for. Yeah, it's happened.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
It has happened. Yeah.
Also, sometimes you don't always have to have the spotlight on you. Share the spotlight, and if possible, if the other person's willing, help them out.
Yeah. Sometimes.
Yeah, especially streaming now, it's been easier for me to sort of figure out the format. Because everyone needs the spotlight, right? You're right. You do need to pass it. It's not, you're not the star hero. You're the star group. Everyone's a star. And so there's almost this sort of like, here, I'll set up a scene and T-ball it off. And then as soon as I get the scene going, well, then I can take a back seat and let everyone else role play what I set up. I don't have to set it up and then star in every scene. It's almost like a tag team match, right?
Yes. And also, do you remember way back in the day, when you were in like elementary, middle school, did you have a game called like Foursquare, where you kind of like bounce the ball over each other?
Yeah, I like Foursquare.
Square. Yeah, it's kind of like that. You have to bounce the ball over to someone else.
It's a 4-man tag team match in a cage.
No 4-way.
Yeah, no, sharing the spotlight is not something that comes naturally to everyone. And yes, I definitely think that it's the game master's responsibility in the end. Obviously, speak up for yourself if you want to, but at the end of the day, the game master kind of needs to make sure everyone gets a turn. And I've had to do it many times, for sure. Rolls and rolls. Ooh, wordplay. Each roll has advantages. Each roll has advantages and disadvantages built into it. But don't worry about the math. Choose a role that you want to play. Each role does something different in the story and focuses on doing what that role does. You will be rewarded with a better chance of success. Below, you will find a description of the 4 roles: the expert, the vanguard, the fighter, and the tank. All of them also have a D listing.
That's right. The expert has a D4, the vanguard has a D6, the fighter has a D8, and the tank has a D10. That's a big old fat die.
We were all wrong.
Okay,
good.
I believe the game that I was playing on Life Action Roleplay, with actually the game creator, Chris O'Neill, I was playing a vanguard.
Okay. Excellent. We were all wrong about the 2-legged ones. It's not a chicken. It's called a high five.
I see that. I don't know how I feel about that.
I don't either. So the expert is the most cerebral of the character. Oh, I went down too far. Of the character roles, focusing on thinking, talking, and using their senses over combat and physical action. Expert uses their special skills, which are edges, more than other roles, and they shine brightest when they're rolling against intel. They are the best at what they do. They roll their class and ultimate far more than other roles. The expert's strength lies in using class abilities, wisdom, perception, and their mind. Secondarily, they are good at using skills and knowledge. They take center stage when the story focuses on discovery, knowledge, and their particular skills. The expert's weaknesses lies in their ability to withstand danger. Experts have the lowest roll against danger and in combat rules in general. They are easy to hurt and require help or defense from other players. Easy to hurt's a funny
In
class.
closing, the TLDR: choose the expert because you want to be the best at using class edges, use smarts and instincts, solve problems, investigate and use perception, talk a lot, make decisions, and use special abilities rather than shoot a blaster or wave a laser sword around.
Great hackers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hackers, like counselors, talkers.
Here's Mr. Kapow.
This is the character I played.
Yeah, the Vanguard.
It was Patience.
Oh, that looks like Mr. Kapow.
Yeah. He had that same helmet on a minute ago.
Mm-hmm. He's got that outfit too.
Yeah, you do.
Oh, this is a good. Oh, that's funny. This is a good character for you, Mr. Kapow. The Vanguard is the most active of the character roles. They're good at most everything: physical action, combat, and skills. They shine when they are rolling against intel and drive, but aren't too shabby at blades and blaster rolls. The Vanguard shines when the story focuses on action, especially if their edges are being called into play. By their nature, the Vanguard is a great fit to back up other characters. The Vanguard's biggest weakness is that everyone else is better than they are at one specific thing, though everyone else also has bigger weaknesses.
Choose the Vanguard because you want to always be in the thick of it, contribute to the fighting, but are okay at not being the best at it, and be great at physical activities like running or flying the starships. Yeah, you're right. That does make sense for Mr. Kapow. That's he can do a little bit of everything, and he supports others.
The character in the game I was in, if I remember correctly, we were having a meeting with some of the rebels, and we were attacked by some kill troopers. And one of them was riding one of those, like a space version of those farming carbines, the harvesters. So my character, who I played basically as a mercenary sniper, took a pot shot and shot the one in the farming harvester.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you stopped it. That's pretty dope. No, that sounds cool. Space harvester, huh?
Mm-hmm.
What was it harvesting?
Space.
Sunflowers. We were playing for Ukraine.
Okay. That's good. Oh, that was pretty recent then. Huh.
Yeah, I think he said it was 2 weeks ago.
Oh. Oh, wow, that was really
A month
recent.
ago.
Jeez.
A month ago.
That was really
Yeah, this game has actually come out pretty recently.
That makes sense.
The next class is the Fighter. The Fighter takes center stage when the battle starts. They're at their best in combat scenes. The Fighter is always in the middle of the action during a battle, often acting on the offensive. They shine when they're rolling blaster or blades or cannons. The Fighter is best in conflict situations and capable in drive and might situations. They're somewhat limited in the intel department. Fighters are also good solo characters, but they also make a great team player. Your greatest strength lies in your offense. A warrior type with the fighter role is a beast in combat. Take center stage when conflict is on the menu. Choose a fighter because you want to blast it with lasers, be good at physical activities, survive a beating, or dish out some hurt.
Nice.
Yeah, I think fighters. I'm feeling fighter.
Yeah.
Maybe pull out a laser sword or two.
I would love to pull out 2 laser swords.
Wow, wow. They make a different noise in this game. It goes wow, 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 wow. I was watching how they made some of those sounds, and it's so crazy, man. Like some of the blaster noises, they put a microphone up to giant steel cables on like a bridge, and they hit it with a hammer. There's a lot of that.
One of them was one of those that one musical instrument that's like antennas. You just move your hand between them.
Yeah. I usually know what that's called.
Theremin.
There you go.
You control like pitch with this hand, and you're like, yeah, something like that, like wow, 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 wow.
The final character type. What do they call them, Jahan? The
tank.
The 4 roles. That's what they call them. The final character role is the tank. The tank is the most defensive of the character roles. They're good in combat.
Personally.
They're good at combat, and especially good at brawn tests and health tests. The tank is the weakest when it comes to using their class ability and intel rolls. Unlike the expert, who strives to utilize their class bonus often, the tank's class bonus and ultimate come into play the least. A tank's strength is in their staying power. They're strong, hale, and hard to take down. The tank is the safest of all characters, being great at rolling against danger. Choose the tank because you want to be safe, defend the party, or be a good fighter and an even better shield.
Awesome.
One of our players was, I believe, the tank. Astra, actually.
Yeah, Astra. Yeah, Astra. No, I like Astra's character design. She's like
very gem in the holograms.
Yeah, very much so. So moving on from the roles, what was that?
I was gonna say, I just realized I could actually read this if I'm on Twitch.
Sure.
But it will be like 14 seconds late and small.
It's true. It will be like 14 seconds late. That's funny. Whenever a rebel is taken in action, there are 6 core moves.
That's too many core moves.
6 core moves that a player can access / perform depending on their form. They may have different
overwhelmed
names.
With all those 6 core moves are just too much, John. This system's really crunchy.
Yeah.
With the 6 moves.
That's a lot.
Loving this system so far.
Depending on which roles you have, yeah, I like it too. You will have different chances to perform these actions. Their key, intel, drive, blasters, might, ultimate, but those can have different names. Outcomes. At the most basic level, when you take an action or make a save, you roll your dice, attempting to roll one of the target numbers listed on your card back for one of the 4 actions. Mental actions, physical actions, violence, and strength. Because of the distribution of these numbers, each of the rolls is more or less likely to roll them, result in each roll behaving differently in the game. Intel, data, and sensors. Most characters roll intel when they are testing knowledge, perception, and mental powers. Intel also covers anything sensory, listening, seeing, remembering. If you are a robot, this is called data. When piloting a ship, this is called sensors. When you are trying to roll intel, you want to roll a 2 or a 3. The expert is the best at rolling intel, which makes sense. Playing a D4 if you want to take knowledgeable, smart, or perceptive.
I love the idea that they made it so if you want to, you could play a droid or a robot.
Yeah. No, I always think the more options, the better. It increases the likelihood that a player will have something they really enjoy. And like, why limit it? All of these are games of the imagination. Why put so many strict limits on it, These are the joys you're looking for. Move, drive, and engines. Roll move when you're testing physical movements or athletic activity. Running, jumping, sliding, dodging, skulking. What? Move is the character's reflexes, their agility, and dexterity. When piloting a ship, this is called engines. When a character is testing move, they need to roll a 3, 4, or 5. Vanguard is the best at rolling these, which makes sense because of how dice work, because they have a d6. Play a d6 if you want to be fast, agile, or sneaky. Blades, blasters, and cannons. Roll conflict when you are testing an action that is the primary conflict. Whether or not you're actually in a physical conflict. This could be fighting, weapons, debate, spellcraft. It really depends on the situation. If you are using violence to resolve something, it's this. Makes sense. Most characters come with a blaster. A few, like the Amari warriors, prefer the laser sword and roll blades. While piloting a ship, this is called cannons. When testing blasters, you need a 4, 5, 6, or 7, which obviously is easiest to roll on a D8. So the fighter is the best at blasters.
Yeah.
That's
pretty cool, the way that kind of plays out.
Yeah. Yeah, they skew it by putting your wheelhouse within your dice range, so that just because you're rolling a bigger dice doesn't necessarily mean that you're rolling a better
Yeah, you're
dice.
not really rolling... Yeah, not at all. It's okay. All right.
Yeah, it's weird. I like it. I've never seen this before. This is a cool system.
Yeah, I see what's going on here. I like what
Really
you guys are up to over there.
Yeah. Really quick, I want to just jump in here. Ninth Level Games uses the system also in their fantasy setting, Maze.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds really cool. No, I saw that they mentioned Maze earlier, and I was interested. I don't know if you heard me talking about the Dark Tower as well. They're doing a Dark Tower retro RPG, which I was also very interested in.
Yeah, right now, actually, me and 2 other players are playing a Maze campaign. It's actually being run by the creator of the system.
Hell yeah.
That's sick.
I think our next game's in like a week or 2.
I might have to watch. I might check it out. I like fantasy. What are you playing?
I am playing a frog goblin witch that wears a hedge as clothing.
Okay. That's yep. That sounds like exactly. Honestly, I might have been able to figure that out if I read the book. That sounds very Michael. I like it. A froglin wearing a hedge.
Grimble. I think he's also wearing a mask, and I think chat called him, because he uses hexes, a hexlin.
That's kind of funny. That's funny. Oh man. No, it sounds like, see, once again, you can play whatever you want, and that's cool. That's a good thing.
After blades, blasters, and cannons, it goes into might, bot, and shields.
Ooh.
Again, this is the same thing. When you're testing might, it's going to be a 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 that you're trying to roll. You're the tank. So the tank rolls a d10. You're the best at rolling might. So that's cool.
A lot.
You might have noticed that an expert can't roll might. They need to have it be a key or an ultimate bonus. So here's how keys and ultimates work, Jahan. I'm going to fill you in. I'm going to drop some knowledge real quick.
Okay,
While you're making rolls, there are 2 other possible results, okay? The key and the ultimate, okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Key is your core ability to do things.
Okay.
The essence of your class, edges, and experience. The ultimate is the last-ditch effort, the luck, and the grit. Whenever you roll a 1, the action something your class could do, then it's a success. This is your key bonus. Key is not like any other action in that it's a bonus, not a direct roll. You don't try to roll a key. Let's say that you're looking for a thief in a crowded room, and the game master calls for an intel roll. Normally, you would only succeed if you rolled a 2 or a 3, but if you're playing a character whose class would be good at spotting a thief in a crowded room, like a rogue, or maybe even have an edge like Watchdog or Spy, then you would also succeed if you rolled a 1. Every die has an ultimate. The ultimate number, that die, which is a 4 for a d4 and a 10 for the d10, etc., so it's the big number. When you roll the ultimate of your die, what happens is based on the current state of the game, bright or dark. When the system is bright, an ultimate is a success. When the system lies in a dark state, an ultimate is a failure. While in between, which is twilight, the character can spend a star to succeed or may negotiate a success with the game master.
Nice.
Punching Nazis and shining stars. Each character has a shining star, a guidepost to their actions, and a special ability all rolled into one that's tied directly to their class: Revolutionary, Rogue, Robot, Ronin, or Renegade. A shining star controls your character's actions, but it also obeys your commands. The character can spend the stars that they earn to do incredible things. Star spins allow your character to take the spotlight and gain control of a situation. This is their scene. A star can be spent for several things, but primarily it's spent to take some narrative control over the game. Spending a star, if approved by your game master, guarantees success. The game master may not accept what you want to spend your star for, but if they do accept the star, you'll always get the effects. Star spins never require a roll.
Nice. Each of the 5.
And it says...
Yep.
I was going to say each of the classes use their stars differently.
Yeah.
So I guess that's like your class ability, your daily, as it were, your big move. That's dope.
This is your big shining spotlight moment.
I like that. I'm curious to see how each class uses that differently.
It's almost like Whispers in. It's very different than Whispers, but it's almost like Whispers in Wild Sea. You can use it to create friends and contacts and details and declaring new things about the character or the world's past. Very cool.
I believe most of us in the game that I was in, when we use our stars, it was actually, we all use our stars at once for the same thing, which was the climax of the story where we broadcasted the evil empire's plans and everything throughout the system.
Nice.
Jahan, do you need examples of punching a Nazi in the face?
I mean,
on page 35, there are 5 examples of punching a Nazi in the face. just in case. Example number 1, punch a Killstar officer in the face. Example number 2, kicking a demagogue that's denouncing immigrants at the spaceport, kicking him right in the balls. Obviously, blowing up a Killstar tank, graffitiing a poster of Uran Killstar, or giving water to voters in line. That's real sure to piss off the Nazis.
Such a weird thing to piss someone off, but yes.
I love it. This book has just enough comedic value on the side. I'm really a big fan of this.
And it makes the medicine go down a little.
Did you see the paragraph above that too?
Commentary.
To be very clear, here's the paragraph. To be very clear, punching a Nazi in the face is intended to be metaphorical, though punching a Nazi in the face physically is also a Nazi face punch metaphorically. Punching a Nazi in the face means that you've taken a direct personal act to make the world a better place against space Nazis.
Yeah.
And isn't that why we're playing in the first place?
Yeah. Yeah. While we're not allowed to advocate for violence against any particular group, even this one, legally, metaphorically, it's a beautiful thing. Yeah,
Mr. Kapow, when you talk to the writer creator of this system again, whoever wrote this book, you need to give them our props. This is very funny.
Yeah,
Will do.
Rebel Scum completely abstracts danger. There are no hit points, shield ratings, or the like. Whenever a character fails at a dangerous action or save, they gain danger. Whenever a character receives a danger, they need to make a danger roll, rolling their die. The player rolls a die, and if they roll higher than their current danger, they are fine and suffer no other ill effects except the failure result. They now have a higher danger total, making the next danger roll more dangerous, which is just a fun sentence. If they roll lower than their current danger, they suffer a consequence and then clear their danger. See consequences below. If they roll exactly their danger, they clear all their danger with a dramatic move called the Clutch, which is fun. Consequences in Rebel Scum, our characters are larger than life heroes. They are the protagonists of the tale, and as such, are always going to find a way to keep on going. These types of heroes only get hurt so that they can show their grit and gumption. They only die in a heroic sacrifice. All that being said, there are still consequences. When a character suffers a consequence, they are out for the rest of the scene. This should be explained within the fiction of the moment. In a firefight, they could be shot. They could be caught under rubble. They could be imprisoned by troopers. Whatever feels right and removes them from the scene. In addition, the government moves the balance towards the dark. Okay, this is where the dark and light comes into play. Excellent. However, during the climax, all bets are off. Danger becomes deadly. Consequences taken during the climax could be deadly or otherwise have far-reaching effects. Clearing danger. After suffering a consequence, remove all of the character's danger, setting the danger level back to 0.
I got a question for you two, actually.
Yeah.
Do you guys prefer a damage system like this? It's more abstract, or do you prefer more like hit points where you have like more of a numerical value to things?
In general, I prefer actual HP and life and death consequences typically. I don't mind this at all. I actually do enjoy it. I feel like it's a little harder for me personally to run. Playing it's a lot of fun though, and I mean I do like it. It's just I'm not used to it yet. I guess it's a very new thing for me.
Yeah, in this system, one of the things I noticed after playing a few games is it's the players are given more narrative control than other systems, such as Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, or even Modern Age.
Yeah, definitely. It reminds me a lot.
As far as systems go, I like the Modern Age system where your health. It's also, I guess, it's just the age system. I like where your health is also your sort of your luck and your action points, because even in Dungeons & Dragons, health isn't every time you get hit by a sword. It's supposed to reflect your stamina and your energy and how exhausted you are and those other things also. So I like the way that Modern Age makes it a physical thing that you use to beat scenes, or it's your health when you get hit. I think because that's sort of what Dungeons & Dragons wants it to be anyways, is how exhausted you are and whether or not you can keep going. So I think that's a cool way to do it. Also, I like when systems only have 3 modes, where you're wounded, you're hurt, and then you're dying. And you can save from that. I think that's just fine also.
That's very World of Darkness.
And I think, that's if you have a character with high defense, then only having 3 hit points isn't detrimental. If you're the guy who can't get hit, you're good to go. But if you're a weak person, then 3 hit points is a big deal to you. And so it's just kind of how the defense is scaled for a system, whether or not that's a good fit.
Yeah. I honestly I prefer systems where you're actually offered a smaller health pool, or something like this where it's more like condition based, meaning for the fact that I feel that amount of like, I'm just gonna say it, the amount of shit you take on as it's getting worse and worse, it forces you as a player also to get more creative and play smarter At least in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Consequences.
I mean, all of these systems have like pros and cons. I mean, so right now my favorite system is definitely Age. It's what I enjoy playing right now. I've really been getting into it. But that being said, there was a scene where Gary's character like got smacked the fuck down hard. Out of nowhere too. Like I just rolled really good and he was down. And like that was, like, and it can happen. And yeah, you were there. And it was definitely a cool dramatic moment, and it did, lend to that, and it worked out in the end. But they all have these pros and cons, and like sometimes, I mean, death is just so permanent, especially when you're trying to tell a story.
That was the last part I was going to say, Michael, to answer your question. I do like a system where you die.
I do too.
Where death is a real thing that can totally throw you off what you're doing with your character and with your story. Without that, and I almost feel like I'm playing on easy, which is fine. But I think permanent character death is one of the really cool things about tabletop role-playing games.
Yeah. Honestly, like, think about it, PC death is like the ultimate spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a cool moment. I don't know. Some of the coolest moments I've seen have come from death in TTRPGs.
And they give characters...
One of my favorites always been the trope where, you stand in line, like you tell your friends, "All right, guys, I got this."
Yeah.
You let them escape while you hold off the impending forces of doom.
Yeah, it's always a good one. I love it. I like a trope too. I'm a trope guy. What were you saying, Gary?
I don't know if I remember. It must not have been too important.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
What do you call it? Man, I was gonna say something about death. So one of the coolest deaths that I saw was Savage World. Gary remembers this. It was really cool. So it was specifically triggered because one of the characters took a flaw called like terminal illness or something like that. And so he was sick. He had a disease. And the way it works is if you have like a light sickness, you go to major sickness if you fail a like fatigue check, right? And you slide on down the road to really sick. He was already really sick. They were trying to stay up all night on a cattle drive. I didn't think it was going to be a big deal, but he failed his test with a double 1, so he couldn't re-roll it, because when you botch, you can't re-roll. And so he failed his test, and then he got something called Dead Man Walking, where by the end of the session, that character's dead. And how it happens is up to the game master and the player to kind of work out. And everyone knew he was going to die. It was really heart-wrenching. So, like, character deaths can be very cool. I don't think they're always necessary, but yeah.
I remember what I was going to say, and it was also about character deaths. To both of your points, character deaths it resets the stakes for some characters and for the group. A lot of times, if the group is drifting apart or if they don't have a common vision anymore, the adventuring party, a death can bring them all on the same page or put them all on the same idea of vengeance or avenging their friend or, doing what their friend wanted done, his last dying wish. So deaths really can change the narrative and kind of help you push it together and get it back on track and form your team up. There's a lot of things that can be done with a death that grows the game. Which, if your character just gets knocked out and comes back next scene, you're just going to go hog wild every time, right? Why not?
Yeah.
Like Han said earlier about that character death. That was my mind. What was reminding me was Doc Holliday in the movie Tombstone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was interesting. Yeah, we were also playing a Western. And it was a lot of fun. That was a crazy, man, dude, I almost cried at the end. Like, I didn't think I would, but it got really, really tough. But no, it was cool, man. I always remember that. And, nothing against this game.
I will say this, though. Character death, I also firmly believe that needs to be worked out between that player and the GM. If a player just honestly, if it doesn't fit the narrative, or the player just, I'm gonna say, I'm feeling it. There should always be a way to work things out. Maybe.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean, these are things you talk about in session 0. You know, it shouldn't be a surprise when it happens that it can happen, kind of thing. Yeah, no, I agree.
The dead man walking example that you were talking about, I think should probably be in every single system. It's the best way to handle character death.
It was jaw dropping, man. That was really cool.
You have died. You officially died, but you don't need to get killed by a goblin in a cave who threw a rock at you. You know, you just die by the end of the session, and that gives you and the game master usually about an hour of time to sort of figure it out, at least. Which is honestly, can be a real big moment.
Like you said, Gary, I'd rather have like a meaningful death in game than a goblin chucked a rock at me or I tripped over a branch.
Yeah, if they give you, an hour, if you and your game master have an hour to think about it on the down low while you're still role playing, you can come up with something so much better. So much better than you fell in the pit and died. Like, oh no, that's it.
Save the pointless death for real life.
I can't wait to die in a spike pit.
Pretty sure that's how Alexander the Great died. He fell in a hole or something when he was like leaving his tent to go to the bathroom. It's not the best. But yeah, so we're on the clutch. There's nothing more dramatic than a glorious turnaround amid the action when the character has failed and taken danger. Sometimes they can still find a way to come out on top. This is called the clutch. When a player is rolling against their current danger and they roll the exact amount of danger that they have, this triggers a clutch action.
Clutch.
First, the player removes all of their accumulated danger, just like clearing danger after a consequence. And then they get to take an action as if they just spent a star. The hero pulls victory from the jaws of defeat, and the audience goes wild. I like it. I think Michael's texted me. No. Thought he might because he disconnected.
When a player is rolling against their current danger, and they roll the exact amount of danger they have, this triggers a clutch action.
Yeah. So, like, if you have 2 danger, you roll a 2 on your dice, clutch, boom, did it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's pretty cool. I like clutch. Because it's not going to happen very often. The odds are not in your favor. But when it does, it's dope, which is the perfect kind of mechanic. What up, Michael?
Hey!
Welcome back. Refresh scenes. After a scene in which a character or characters fall from danger, there is a refresh scene. A refresh scene is a light interlude designed to give the narrative the ability to bring a fallen hero back to the action. Okay, so that's like, hey, you're back. All right, cool. Bonds. Characters do not start with bonds, but create them together after a game session. At the end of a session, each player will create a bond. They can be written down in the action figure card back in the handshake box. In Rebel Scum, your characters will gain bonds as they play the game. After a session of play, each character should create a bond with another character. Bonds are a formal way of creating needs between the player's characters and between their character and the world. Bonds tend to be written as a relationship between a character and another character. When these bonds are tested or activated in play, the players are driven to act by those bonds. This is cool. Bonds can be resolved by an action in game, and doing so is the same as taking a refresh scene. When something negative has occurred, but the character's bond could be brought into play, the player can resolve the bond instead of taking the time to refresh the scene. So in some ways, a bond is almost like a pre-acted refresh scene. At the end of the game, a broken bond or a bond that didn't come into play can be resolved and replaced with a different bond. Something that the player feels will happen in the next episode. That's cool. So it encourages cooperation And
I just wanted to shout out refresh scenes real quick.
Yeah.
I know I've complained about it on here before, and I'll always complain about it. Remember the time I didn't get to play D&D for like 3 or 4 weeks at our own house?
Yes.
Because my character was petrified?
Yes, I do remember that.
That would have been a good time for a refresh scene.
I would have brought you in at the very latest the next session.
Ugh.
I also want to say the bonds. It really reminds me of like the relationship and contacts of games like Powered by Apocalypse systems.
Yeah.
Or what do you call it? A little bit like the contacts in Modern Age.
Yeah, it's very PBA. It reminds me, one of my favorite social systems is in White Wolf. They have some pretty good stuff set up there as well. Because I enjoyed, well, at least in the edition I played, which is a long time ago. But they had, like, it was different stats for, like, an attendant who was, like, an Alfred versus contacts who are, like, you know, black market people. Or... or allies who are like, you know, people you can call on to come fight with you. Like those, they differentiated between all those things, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, bonds in this game, I like. So now we're creating our rebels. Choose your class. Each player will select a character class. The class will determine which card back you play with. Take the action figure card back that matches your class. Choose a name. Select your pronouns, which is important. It's a nice thing that they included. Doing this, we've met many people who have, you know, their preferences, and it's important to respect them as people. Select your role. Fill in which role you will play. The expert, the vanguard, the fighter, or the tank. When selecting, is that different than the choose your class?
Yes.
Interesting.
So the roles we read about earlier, the roles are expert, vanguard, fighter, and tank. The classes we actually haven't gotten into as much, but I believe they are the Ronin, the revolutionary, the robot, and the renegade.
Ooh, so you can mix match. I like daddy like.
Might have forgot to say the rogue.
You might have forgotten that, but you said 2 R's, I think, so I don't know.
They are all R's, every single one of them.
Oh, okay. Then I have no idea.
It's Ronin, revolutionary, robot, renegade, and rogue.
Because they're all rebels.
They're all rebels, and it's our wars.
I believe my character was Renegade Vanguard, if I remember correctly.
Renegade Vanguard. No, that's dope. File card readout. Under the file card icon, you have a file card readout. Here's where you can add personal details. Nice. Then you have the bonds. You do at the end of the thing. Shining stars. Each class has its own shining star. This is a special ability the character has based on their class. Shining star is part of guiding light and a part of burning desire. Your shining star controls your actions, but it also, you know, obeys your commands. Each class has its own shining star listed under the star icon. When you gain a star, see Punching Nazis on page 34 to 35. Place it on your card back in the star space. Spending that star or burning a star allows your character to take the spotlight and gain control of a situation. This is their scene. Remember, a character can only have 1 star at a time. If you use your star, you can gain another, but you can't stack or bank them. Fair. Star and danger. A place to put your star token, a place to put your danger die. When you have no danger, keep this die off the card and move it back when you have 1. Okay, so they're just telling you how to keep track of stuff. Edges. Each class has a list of edges that you get to select at the beginning of the game. You start a game with any 2. Each edge is self-explanatory, but some are listed with an asterisk. Additional page description on 55. Yeah.
So edges, that's something that I would like immediately. I'd be flipping back and forth from these classes to the edges to see exactly what they do.
Yeah.
The first character sheet that comes up for us is the Ronin. And the Ronin's shining star is that they burn a star to succeed whenever the result brings peace to a situation.
Sick.
So if you want to bring peace, you can burn that star and make that happen.
I like their edges: clairvoyant, diplomat, general, historian, sword fighter, teacher, telekinetic, telepath. I wonder what they're supposed to be.
Yes, that's right.
Hmm.
It even says here, the Ronin are the outlawed warrior monk, a member of the fallen Amorai warriors.
Excellent. Nah, I love it. I love it 1,000%. Great pictures. Excellent. The Revolutionary.
This is probably what I would play, I think.
As the Revolutionary, you fight for change. Burn a star to succeed whenever the result changes the status quo, if only.
And the edges for this one are academic, aristocrat, commando, firebrand, organizer, pilot, and spy.
You missed mechanic.
Did I?
Yeah.
Mechanic.
That's all good. It happens.
I was probably looking at them trying to decide which ones I was interested in and
you
just skipped mechanic.
Didn't see that one because you don't give a damn.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not playing a mechanic. I'm whooping that ass with the laser sword.
It's funny. The Robot. As the robot, you seek self. Burn a star to succeed whenever the result is an expression of self.
Very abstract.
Very abstract, yeah. But I feel like being a robot can become pretty existential.
There's some cool edges in here too, Jahan. Assistant, bucket, fixer, killer, lifter, megaputer, spacer, and watchdog. I would be a killer assistant robot.
Murder bot.
That seems like fun.
Assisted killing. The assisted suicide robot.
Do it with a laser sword.
Robot Kevorkian.
So many people would be signing up to be cut down by lightsabers.
Just give you a knife, you can just stab him in the ass.
The next class after robot is Renegade. As the Renegade, you seek redemption. Burn a star to succeed whenever the result brings justice to the world. Oh, that's a good one.
This is a good one.
You guys remember the TV show called The Renegade? With Lorenzo Lamas, I think it was.
I don't think so. Maybe. The Renegade.
I'd have to look it up. I'm not. It's
I'll
not
do it
giving
right
me
now.
any imagery. While you're doing that, I'll talk about the Renegade's edges. As the Renegade, you have the edge aristocrat, assassin, bureaucrat, driver, intelligence, officer, plutocrat, or trooper.
1992. Police detective Reno Raines is framed for murder and turns bounty hunter to find the people responsible. It's pretty good.
Not ringing the bell.
I don't remember. It sounds like all the 90s shows. It's 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Be a renegade or funk. Good call, Vampire Bites.
There you go, yeah.
I'm gonna be Luke De La Rocha.
Yeah, you read those. Excellent. Yeah, Renegade. Boom. Those are the classes. Oh, Rogue. We missed
There's
one.
one final one that sneaks in here at the end. It's the Rogue, Jahan.
As the Rogue, you burn for freedom. Burn a star to succeed whenever the result frees someone. Interesting. That could be super interesting. But yeah, Crimer, Coyote, Duelist, Gambler, Coder, Racer, Thief, Smuggler.
Yeah, I might be a warrior rogue also. Those seem like some good edges.
There's some cool stuff going on. No, definitely like it. Love the artwork. They have starship rules
Ooh.
as well. They have similar classifications. Yachts are D4s, Corvettes D6, frigate D8, cruiser D10.
And it looks like your starship has edges you can choose from. Armor plating, bombs, cloaking device, starfighters, runabout shuttle, jammers, megaputer, missiles, passenger amenities, self-destruct, and super thrusters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is a catch-all, too. This is a catch-all sheet. It's for any size ship. Interesting. Interesting. Very cool. Yeah, then they get into, like, edge descriptions in case you need them. And then here's the Last Hope, which I believe is an included adventure.
Those edges are
That's
cool,
the ship
though.
we had. The game.
Yeah, this is like a pre-built ship. Oh, it's called the Last Hope. It's very cool. Cloaking device and jammers. Very cool. Little map here. Always love a good map. Yeah, and then it gets into like the government and that kind of things. Which is usually like the Game Master stuff. We don't usually dip that far.
Did you want to take a look at the edges, John? There's only one page in this game.
Yeah,
They're able to
look at 'em.
condense all the edges onto page 55.
Those are only the edges with asterisks.
Oh, those are the special edges.
The ones that beggar continued description.
So Bucket is a good one. This one was for the droids. It makes you a general maintenance and cleaning unit. Buckets are universally ignored, as they're literally everywhere doing menial chores. So I could be a bucket killer robot.
Yeah.
And just roll up and murder people and roll away. Coder, of course, you're good at reprogramming computers. Crimer, you're a no-good scoundrel with white-collar crime. Driver, you're good at driving non-starships, because when you're driving a starship, that's called piloting.
I like that they
Fire-
clarify that to stop players.
Yeah, I like that too. Firebrand. I saw this one on the sheet and was like, what the hell is a firebrand? Your experience in taking radical action, especially in words. A firebrand is good at inciting passion. Yeah, I like that one. General, you're a military strategist, a general. Jammers, you can override communications. Mega Pewter, which is a mega computer. Check out the big brain. All the computers are smart, but this one is super, super smart and super fast. Passenger Amenitas, which is actually spelled different. Passenger is spelled different here than it was earlier. Your ship is decked out with all the creature comforts. It's either really cozy and homey or very posh and clean. I have like a secret desire, I think, to edit a few tabletop games, Jahan, and so I keep noticing typos in like everything I read now.
Yeah. No, you'd be good at it.
Racer, you're very good when going very fast. Runner, you're practiced at smuggling and running people through blockades and borders. Spacer, you're prepared for actions outside of a starship. Starfighters, your ship has starfighters in it, or at least with it, that require separate pilots. The last one is Trooper, and you used to be a Kill Star Trooper. I figured that would be when I read it.
I like it. I like it a lot. Nah, man. So everything from the action figure theming to the on-the-fly rules, the narrative storytelling. This game's dope.
The game is really dope. What they have in substance, what they have in jokes written in, the stuff that's baked in, it's definitely political, but it's political up my alley, so I like it. What I don't love is some of the art. Some of the art leaves some to be desired, and just sort of the formatting and art. That's all I would say. Other than that, I have really no complaints about this.
Yeah, but for a $15 game, the formatting and art's actually pretty damn good.
This is definitely one of those pick up and play games that you could just run in like an hour, up and running in an hour.
One thing I would have liked to have seen is different aliens, just for inspiration. I know that as a game master and a player, that you can basically do anything with game master approval, and especially when you have a game master like Jahan who's really open and willing to work with you, then you can basically do anything with game master approval. But it would have been nice just to have some kind of rip-off Gamorreans and some rip-off Wookiees and Ewoks and things like that.
I would have loved to have seen their parody takes on stuff.
Yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
They could have called them Ewoks. Like woke. That would have been really funny.
I kind of like the fact that you can still be any alien race. You just play them the same as however you would make your character. You would just be a different species.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, is systems that do that, I get it. You say it's open, you say work it out with your game master, no problem. And they say no problem. They pat you in the back and they tell you that's a great idea. I wish they would help us come up with the ideas, and they would feed us, a couple of spoonsful of here's our setting and here's our tastiness. I am, I've got a good imagination. We all have good imaginations, and we could think of some awesome stuff. But it's fun to play with other people's toys in the sandbox sometimes too.
Would you say that you would rather they have mechanics for each of these separate species?
Yeah, I think that would be cool if they just put some general ones out there that were like, if they even called them like, origin. If you had like some origin feats or something you could take that kind of inspired you in a way like, oh, maybe I'm an alien because of this origin. That might help. I think things like that are something subtle, but something that still helps you build a flavor in your head. And I know the flavor of this is Star Wars. I get it. And if I want to be a Twi'lek, I just tell you I'm a Twi'lek. But I think you get what I'm saying. I wish there were some scoops of flavor here.
Yeah, I can do with that. I like the overall theming. I love the action figure stuff. I haven't seen that before. And it's just such a unique system. I would play this. I would play this for like this would be a really fun one shot for sure.
I would play like a 3 or 5 shot of this just to get a little adventure out the way, because I could do a one shot of just role playing. I could talk in a character for a whole session. Me and Michael Powell could sit in a room and talk for 3 hours if you want us to. So
3 sessions is about the length of a movie.
Yeah, 3 to 5, right? 3 to 5 could be fun. Yeah, I would play this game, and I would go so far to say that at $15, this game is certified fresh out the box.
Absolutely. Good job, Ninth Level Games. We like your stuff. We're going to reach out to you soon. We haven't before. Maybe try to do some stuff with you guys. This is dope.
I might be able to help with that.
Michael might be able to help. He knows the people. And that's going to be dope. But today, Star Wars Day. Happy Star Wars Day, everyone. May the 4th be with you. Did you have anything else, Gary?
I didn't. I would just like to remind everybody that this is most certainly not a Star Wars game.
Definitely not a Star Wars game.
No.
Any final thoughts before we do our outros, Mr. Kapow?
Like I said before, one of the things I really love about this game is the fact that you could create your characters and have things kicking off in about an hour. And as you said before, this is one of those games like, I kind of want to say, if you say not everybody shows up for game night, which has happened before, you still want to run something with the people who did show up. This is
definitely
a perfect game for that.
Definitely. And that comes up. That happens to us more often than we would like sometimes. But yeah, maybe I'll whip out Rebel Scum next time and we'll have at it.
Whip it out.
Just whip it out for 'em.
Whip out that scum, John.
I'm gonna whip out my scum.
Whip out that little rebel.
Check out my Rebel Scum now on OnlyFans.
Oh man,
Rebel Scum from Ninth Level Games. Go check it out. They have a bunch of free and cool stuff on their website. Just go check them out. They're dope. And then, that was it. Happy Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. I have been Johananon, the board game guru and game master extraordinaire at RockFact on Twitter.
I'm the co-host of Fresh Out the Box. I'm Casualty CDG, and you can find Jahan and I playing tabletop games or learning about them every Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday on twitch.tv/Johananon, or on our YouTube. It's Fresh Out the Box. If you just Google Fresh Out the Box TTRPG, it's the first result finally.
Really?
You can find... Yeah, hell yeah. So you can find us that way. Also, there's a Facebook. It's Fresh Out the Box. I don't know if I'm missing anything. Oh, Fresh Out the Podcast. This week we'll be doing a special spoiler episode of Doctor Strange or the Multiverse of Madness. Jahan, Drew, and I are all going to go see it Saturday before we record, and that episode will be coming out Sunday, or you can watch every other Saturday we record episodes of our podcast live. So that's Fresh Out the Podcast. Tell your friends, tell your lovers, tell your enemies all about Fresh Out the Podcast. Thank you guys so much for being here. We appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to playing more games for you and with you.
Oh, and I guess I'm Michael Powell, and you can find me usually on my social medias, which is at Mr. Kapow. That's MrKapao. Or my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Michael Powell does stuff, because I do a lot of stuff, such as my YouTube channels, which are Fantastic Tales of Adventure, or my horror channel, which is Dastardly Tales of Horror. Oh, and I recently started doing Tumblr, and I'm trying to figure that out. So, yeah, I'm Mr. Kapow on that as well, and also got a Fantastic Tales of Adventures there. And let's see, my current schedule right now is usually every other Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm actually here playing Modern Age with these delightful fellas. Or, let's see, I believe next Thursday, which is May 12th, I will be on live action roleplay for the Maze game, which is GM by Chris O'Neill, who made Rebel Scum. So, yeah, be sure to check that out. That's at, I believe, 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time.
Excellent. Yeah, and thanks for this great recommendation for Rebel Scum, Mr. Kapow. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Don't forget to get your copy of Rebel Scum at Ninth Level Games or on Drive Thru RPG. And in the meantime, stay fresh.